Okay, everybody, welcome back to another Likutei Moharan Shiur. This is our 33rd class, all text-based classes, which can be found on bribreslov.org or on my SoundCloud account at Nach Daily or Shai Sussman on SoundCloud. Tonight, we're continuing learning Likutei Moharan Tinyana lesson 12, means it's the second section in Likutei Moharan, the 12th lesson, Rabbi Nachman's famous work called Aye Mikom Kivodo. Where are you? Where is your throne of glory, Hashem? This is our third class that we've been giving on it, and we're probably going to be doing another 2 more on this lesson. It's an amazing what we've been learning for those who have been following. If you haven't been following, you could totally start following this year right now. And Rabbi Nachman, I think, wrote 11 pieces in Likutei Halachos on this lesson. So it's a very, very deep lesson. And Rabbi Nachman himself said this is one of the lessons that you should walk with. And this is one of his very, very important teachings. Now, we'll do a recap of what we've spoken about, and then we'll kind of jump right in. And tonight, we're going to do a bunch of reading. So in the first class, we spoke about the need for simplicity, that there's a certain tmimus and pshitas to life. There's a certain trust in Hashem, there's certain emunah that a person needs to have in order not to follow after their own ideas, to put their own agenda aside, and just touch the simplicity of life itself. And the next class, last week, what we learned about is kind of the spiritual mechanics, as I like to say, of how the spiritual system works that allows a person to connect to God, even in the darkest places. That I was calling it last week, like the magic trick of life, so to speak. The illusion, how to see through the illusion, or what exactly is the illusion of life we were speaking about last week. And this week, what I'm going to talk about, what we're going to learn together, is what I like to call the big reveal, our practical advice on how to pull away the curtain and see through the illusion or beyond the illusion, beyond the magic trick of life, and actually connect to Hashem himself, the source of all life. Now, to summarize more specifically what we were speaking about last week, and we'll summarize with this, and then we'll jump kind of right into the lesson. Is last week we were discussing that Hashem's glory, Hashem's kavod, is found throughout the entire creation, even in places that seemingly are devoid of Hashem's kavod. So the question is how could that be, right? If the place is, if the place was completely devoid of Hashem, if the place was completely devoid of Elokus, of any level of divinity, so it couldn't exist. But yet we know, as Rabbi Nachman would say, Kvodi la'acher lo titin, right? I'm not going to give my honor to certain places, meaning to say, in Chet, in sin, and Averas, it seems that there's no Hashem in these places, and that's why you actually need to stay away from these places. But paradoxically, since these places are devoid of Hashem, since these places don't have Hashem in it, a person needs to stay away from it. But Rabbi Nachman was saying paradoxically that even in these places, even in Batei Avodah Zarah, even in places that he calls Makom Tnufim, dirty, filthy places filled with hate, places filled with Avera, certainly Hashem could be found there. Because if the place was totally devoid of Elokus, if it was totally devoid of any divinity, then a person would not be able to, it wouldn't exist in this world. So Rabbi Nachman is really struggling with this issue, and he's teaching us how could it be that a place that seemingly is devoid of godliness, that there's a huge smoke screen in front of it, there's a huge illusion of it, how could it be that that place has divinity to it? So at this point, Rabbi Nachman introduces and teaches us about the idea called the Maimer Sasson, the hidden Maimer, or the closed Maimer, which is also known as the Maimer Bereshis, meaning the first saying that Hashem said when he created the world was Bereshis bara Elokim. In the beginning, Hashem created the world, right? Es Hashemayim v'es Haaretz, right? So that those words Bereshis, that's called the Maimer Sasson. It's called the concealed Maimer. It's called the hidden Maimer. And there's something so potent in that mimer, in that saying of Hashem, the first of all the Asara Maimara Shenivra Olam, the first of all the 10 sayings that Hashem used to create the world. There's something so potent in that saying, the words Bereshis itself, that it's able to sustain even the darkest and darkest of places. It's able to go like in a covert operation, as I was calling it last week. It's like an incognito tab on the internet. It's able to go even to the darkest, most tumidic places, totally undetected and totally unscathed. So therefore, Rabbi Nachman was explaining that it's precisely in the darkest, most darkest places, those places themselves are sustained by the mimer sussum, this concealed and closed mimer, the mimer of Bereshis, and therefore these hidden places have the most potent level of Kedusha. So it comes out that the darkest, most filthiest, most dirtiest place is actually sustained from the highest, most potent level of Kedusha. And this is something that Rabbi Nachman says that it's really usher to think about, and it's something that we can't really wrap our mind around, that it comes out that a place that is dirty actually has higher Kedusha in it than a place that has revealed Kedusha to it, right? So it's a pretty wild thing. How could that be? But nevertheless, in this context, in this context, Rabbi Nachman is saying that yes, it's true. A dirty place has a certain potent level of kedusha because it's sustained through the Maimer Eli and the Maimer Sosim that a place of revealed kedusha doesn't have. Now, before we jump in, we're going to learn what does this have to do with us. Okay, so that's how it works. That's how the illusion works. So there's a very filthy place that's sustained with a very high potence level of kedusha, like the incognito tab, right? It's able to go kind of undetected under the radar. So what does that have to do with me and you, right? So here, Rabbi Nachman is going to talk more deeply. What he's going to say, Aye Mekom Kavodo, person needs to search out and find the honor of God. Where in all this? So again, this is practical advice on how to find your way out of the darkness, to actually pull the curtain away, to see the big reveal, to see the master magician himself, the one who's creating the illusion, that is none other than Hashem. So now with that, we're going to jump right in. Let me go to the screen share. Okay. Screen share. You guys could see that? Okay, so we're starting. Beautiful. Again, this is lesson 12 in Likutei Moharan. And we're starting from this highlighted place on the bottom. As last week, we ended with the line, and this is incomprehensible to the human mind. So now we're going to start over here. Therefore, and this is like class of Breslover chizuk and encouragement, and so deep, it's so profound, right? The alkain, therefore, when a person falls, hold on, when they fall to these dirty places that we're speaking about, we're talking about these dirty, filthy places, and a person falls to doubt and question and alternative thoughts and just tremendous confusion. Then a person starts to look at themselves. And a person begins to see, I'm actually very, very far from the kavod of Hashem. And you go ahead and you ask and you search, Aye Mekom Kivodo, where is your place of glory? That after a person himself sees that he's actually far from Hashem's kavod, after he fell to these places, Rahman al-Islam, and this is how you fix it, this is how you mend it, this is the tikkun, and this is how you're going to raise yourself, that it becomes an aliyah, ascent for you. That a falling itself is an aliyah, hamuva b'sfarim, like it's brought in the svarim. Ki aye mekom kivodo, because where is your honor? Where is your place of honor? Zebechinas hakavod elyon shemaimer ha'elyon. Right? This is the kavod elyon, the elevated honor that is from the Maimer Elyon, which again is the Maimer Sasson, the concealed Maimer, right? Which is the Maimer of Bereshis, which is also called, as he's showing us, Rabbi Nachman, that this is called the Maimer Elyon, the highest, most exalted level. The Haino HaMaimer Sasson Bereshis, which is the Maimer Sasson, which is Bereshis, Kenal, Kenizkor La'el, like the aforementioned. Shemisham Nimshach Chiyus Limkomos Ha'elu, because this is the life force in these dirty, filthy places gets sustained through it, through this Maimer Elyon, the Maimer Sasson. Nimsa. So it comes out. When a person searches out and seeks, where is God in all this? Where is your place of glory? This itself, this brings a person back and raises him to the level and connects him to the Kavod Elyon, Shehu Bechinas Aye, which is an aspect of Aye. Shemagodo Hastarasa Ve'elamo, Hu Mechaye Minkomos Halalu. Because from its great hiddenness and its great concealment, the Maimer Elyon sustains all these places. The Achshav, and now, Al Yidei Shehu Nafel Lasham, through the virtue of the fact that you fell to these places, and you search out and find, and you ask, God, where are you in this? Where is your place of glory? So now you pull away the magic curtain, the big reveal, and now you yourself connect to the Maimer Elyon. And you bring life to your fallenness. And you get raised to the highest of the highest of the highest places. Okay, guys, we could stop here. Share done for tonight, and I'll see you next. Guys, this is impressive. That a person falls to the lowest of the lowest of the lowest places. But like we've been learning, how are the lowest places sustained? Through the Maimer Elyon. So the highest level of Kedusha is sustained in these lowest places. So therefore, when a person searches out God in these places, in the most deepest, most darkest, most decadent, devoid of Elokus places, then they're able to pull away the curtain of the magic trick, and they say, Aye Mekom Kavodo, God, where are you in all this? That itself allows a person to connect to the Maimer Sasson, the Maimer Elyon, and now your Yerida gets flipped and turned into an Aliyah. Now all the falling, your descent turns into an ascent, your falling now becomes an elevation for you. So this is incredible. Again, this is amazing. So obviously over here, not only does Rabbi Nachman mean physical places, a person falls to physical dirty places. As I've mentioned in previous years, I like to think of Fisherman's Wharf in San Francisco. Hey, but not only that, obviously Rabbi Nachman means emotional and spiritual places, that when a person's filled in a low state of worry and anxiety and depression, and a person has a certain level of trauma, and it's only natural to ask yourself, Hashem, where are you? How did you let this happen to me? Where are you amongst the illusion? Where are you amongst my bitter feelings? Where are you amongst the traumas of the past, right? So that itself, the chippus, the search, and the desire that a person has, that itself is the tikkuna, right? That itself is the thing that brings you out and allows you to connect to the Maimer Elyon. It's like, I once saw in Rav Tzadok HaKohen in Tzidkas HaTzadik that Rav Tzadok says that there one tefillah that gets answered every single time you daven for it is a tefillah for tshuva. You ask Hashem, Hashem, please draw me close to you. Because that itself is tshuva, right? Tshuva's on your outside, you're on the outside. Now you're asking Hashem, bring me close. The very fact that you said those words, Hashem, bring me close, that itself is tshuva, and that flips you on the inside. So to over here, Hashem is saying, Rabbi Nachman is saying that when a person has such difficulty and such challenges, physical, emotional, spiritual challenges, and a person searches out, Hashem, where are you in all this? That itself, the very fact that you're searching for God and you're trying to find God in it, That itself is the tikkuno. That itself is the fixing. That itself is the very thing that turns your difficult trauma or anxiety or worry or depression, your very difficult yerida, that itself makes an aliyah, that itself brings a tikkun for it. That a person is able to make sense out of their experience of life through searching Aye Mikom Kavodo. God, where is your glory in all this? Where is your honor? It's like I can't help but think about COVID, you know? Like, where are you in all this, Hashem? Aye Mikom Kavodo. So when a person looks and a person looks and a person searches, you're able to see how like it totally points towards God. No one understands anything about it, right? The entire thing points towards the Rabboni Shalom. But it's only when a person searches and a person sifts and a person really, really looks, Aye, God, where are you in all this? I just can't see you. When you search Aye, you pulled away the curtain. Now you connect to the Maimer Sason, the Maimer Rashis, the Maimer Elyon. Okay. Hold on a second. We're going to go back to the screen share over here. Hold on. Back to the screen share. There we go. Hold on. That was the wrong screen share. Hold on a second. There we go. Okay. Now Rabbi Nachman's he's going to bring this full circle and explain more deeply and Kabbalistically how this goes. This aspect of Aye Mikom Kavodo, this is like the Korban Ole, an elevation korban, sacrifice, Shemachaper al Hirhor Halev, that brings atonement for Hirhor Halev, the fluctuations of the heart. Kamosha Amru Rabbeinu Zechron L'Bracha, like Chazal say, Kamo Shekasav Va'ola al Ruchacham Sha'ola Mechaper al Hirhor. That it says that the Ola went on their Ruach, that this Chazal brings, that the Korban Ola, it brings atonement for Hirhor, for thoughts, unwanted thoughts, intrusive thoughts, self-doubt. He's going to explain this little drush over here. I don't want to get too bogged down in it, but he's going to explain it. Right? There is an aspect of my heart is surrounded. There is a klipa. The klipa is like a husk or an impeding negative spiritual force. That it bends and surrounds the heart with tremendous confusion and doubt. You know, it's like a person says like I like to think like racing thoughts, like it just keeps racing around your mind like a circle. Behi bechinas klipas noga. We're going to explain this a little bit. And this is an aspect of the klipas noga, a certain klipa. The alke nikras schar char. And therefore it's called surrounding. Targum shel saviv. Sechur. That it translates of schar char is sechur, which means to encircle. Bechinas benoga lo saviv. That it says that the light was surrounding him. That's in Yechezkel's vision of Hashem's chariot. That says he saw the angels and the noga was saviv and the light was surrounding him. Kihi bechinas targum, and we're again, this is all going to come clear. This is an aspect of Targum, of the Targum translation. Kemuva, like it's brought, but al ken ksiv b'lashon Targum, and therefore it's written in Lashon Targum. That's why schar is sechor means surround in Targum. We're going to explain this in a minute. Ukisha adam nofel l'sham, when a person falls to these places, shezeh bechinas mekomos hametunafim, which is an aspect of filth. The azay mevakesh v'tzoek aye mekom kivodo. And then a person from the depths of their heart with honesty and sincerity calls out, Aye mekom kivodo, God, where is your place of honor? Where are you in all this? This itself brings the fixing. Because then a person returns himself to the covered elyon, like we've been saying, which is the highest, most potent level of kedusha, which is hidden there. Shehu bechinas aye kanal. which is which is the aspect of IA, like we've been saying. Okay, so let's just explain this. Let's do the recap and explain, because he started talking about Klipas Noga and Targum. So what's Klipas Noga? We know that there are many different Klipas, which are spiritual negative forces that want to hold us down and stop us from serving God, kind of like an onion. A klipa literally means an outer shell. So there are many outer shells that surround the heart. In specific, Rabbi Nachman highlights that Targum, the Targum translation, is like the Klipas Noga. So let's just explain a little bit what this means. So the Klipas Noga, these husk of Noga, what we're going to call it, Noga gets translated as either light or to touch. So the Klipas Noga is filled with light, and you could touch it, so to speak, which means it's me'urav, it's mixed of good and bad. So the Klipas Noga is really a swing klipa. It could kind of go in either direction, right? It can go either way. So that's why it has light contained in it, from the word noga, Aramaic for light. And it also means to touch, like nogea, like touching on something, because it contains light in it, but it could move in either direction because it's a mixture of good and bad. So this, I like to think of Klipas Noga as a swing klipa, that it could go in either, again, it could go in either direction. So if this is an aspect of Targum, right? Why is this an aspect of Targum? Because we know everything there, we know there's Lashon HaKodesh, there's Targum, and then there's other languages. So Targum, the language of Targum, of the Aramaic translation of Hebrew, like Targum Onkelos, it's a mamutza, it's a bridge. It's a bridge between Hebrew and the rest of the languages. So this mamutza, this bridge of Targum, it's like a swings, it's used to traverse, right? So it's the same thing as Klipas Noga, that the aspect of Klipas Noga is this thing that could kind of move in either direction. You could use the Klipas Noga in order to access the Sitra Achra, the other side, or you could use the Klipas Noga in order to incorporate it and engulf it in the Sitra de Kedusha, in the holy side. So therefore, when a person falls in a low state, or let's say a person falls emotionally, right? So you fall emotionally and you start wondering to yourself in disbelief, how did I come this far? Or how did I fall to this situation, right? So this itself is an aspect of Noga, which is an aspect of Targum, which is this swing, either way. Why? Because a person can look at their experience of life and they could say, look at me, poor me, and they could use it to bring themselves further down. I'm such a sinner. I'm such a choteh. I need to be more anxious. I need to beat myself up, and I need to run myself down, right? And that will bring you to the Sitra Achra. That will bring you to the negative side. Or a person who falls emotionally, they can try to look at it and say, okay, I fell, but I could pick myself up. I could start again. It's okay to have the feelings that I'm feeling, right? So again, when a person falls to these low places, Rabbi Nachman is explaining that when a person searches out Aye, so that itself is like the Klipas Noga. You're bringing a tikkun to the Klipas Noga, which is engulfing it and encompassing it to the side of Kedusha. Because now you're in this low place. It seems like it's devoid of God. But now that you search out Aye Nikum Kavodo, Hashem, where are you in all this? So that itself brings the tikkun. So now you take this Klipas Noga and you inculcate it, or you absorb it into the side of Kedusha, which makes your Yerida and Aliyah. Awesome. This is awesome. But again, it all starts with searching and searching and searching. Aye, Aye, Aye. Aye, Hashem, where are you? Where are you? And where are you? Okay, back to the screen share. Okay. Let's see where we're up to. Okay. V'zedechinas ole. Hold on. So that's what Rabbi Nachman was saying, that it's like the korban ole, because the korban ole, it's metaken for the hirhur halev. So when a person brings that korban, right, it elevates the entire thing, and it elevates all their averas and elevates all their self-doubt, which is what Rabbi Nachman started with originally, that a person needs to live with a certain mental simplicity and non-complexity they need to approach life. Okay, we'll bring it full circle when we read more. Ola, and this is like an Ola, the Korban Ola, the elevation. Va'aye Sela Ola, and this brings us to next week's Parsha, Vayera. The Aye Sela Ola, where is the sheep for the Ola? Shebechinas Ayehi Bechinas Sela Ola. That this searching out Hashem is the Sela Ola, is the sheep that is brought for a sacrifice. L'taken, l'saken u'lechaper hirur lev. That brings atonement on the sin, on the thoughts of the heart. Shabam komos habetunafim ken iskar le'am. That came from the filthy places that were aforementioned. Ki al yedei bechinas aye, through searching out aye, nistaken ba'olam misham kenal. So now everything gets fixed. V'zeh bechinas ma shemuva besof hatikunim. And this is what's brought at the end of the Tikkunei Zohar, Bereshis Baratayish. What is the word Bereshis for? Right? It's a compound word of Baratayish. Hashem created the lamb. Tahainu Sela Ole. That's the lamb, the sed that gets brought as a korban olah. And when a person searches out Aye Mekom Kibodo, that itself is the olah. That itself brings the aliyah, and that allows you to connect to the olah, to the aliyah, that elevation of Bereshis, because Bereshis is the compound word of Baratayish. Hashem created this goat, this set. We'll speak about that in a minute if you guys are wondering. Shenasa Aydei B'chinas Aye, Shehu B'chinas Bereshis, Maimer Sasim. Okay, I know it's more intense tonight, right? But let's just explain what Rabbi Nachman just said, right? So Aye Sela Ole, where's that from? Next week's Parsha, Yitzchak. Right? What happens is that Abraham, his entire life, Yitzchak's walking with Abraham, and Yitzchak's wondering, where's God? My father, his entire life dedicated to monotheism, to spreading Hashem. His whole life was against the Avodah Zarah. Now he's going to bring me as a korban? Me? So you see, Yitzchak started falling into a certain hirhur halev, a certain self-doubt, right? So what does Yitzchak do? What does Yitzchak do? Because he's so confused and he's just wondering, like, what, my father's gonna check me for Avodah Zarah? It completely threw him for a loop. So what does Yitzchak do? He searches out Aye. He says, Aye Sela Ola. Hashem, where are you in all this? Where is the Sela Ola? Where is the korban that is mechaper on the hirhor halev, on the self-doubt that I'm having right now? So when he searches out Aye Sela Ola, where is God in all this? Where is the korban olah that's going to be mechaper for my hirhor halev? Where are you in all this confusion that my father is going to go against his monotheistic views and go ahead and chef me and bring me as a sacrifice? Where are you, Hashem? That itself brings the tikkun. That itself is what gave Yitzchak clarity in order to be the Sela Olah. And we know what happened on Akedah Yitzchak. Mamish was the biggest aliyah from the darkness of the confusion. It says Yitzchak Mamish received the new neshama, and all these amazing things happened until today, right? It says Vayikach es ma'acheles, right? Avram Avinu took the knife. That the knife is called the ma'acheles, something that eats away. Because when you have a knife, it eats away. So I once saw in the Sfas Emes, he says, why is it ma'acheles, a knife eating away? There are other ways you can say knife. Sakin means a knife, right? Why is ma'acheles? Because we're still eating the benefit and reaping the reward of Akedah Yitzchak. So it turned out to be the biggest aliyah. So Yitzchak, he's searching for clarity and a tikkun for the hirhor halev that he was happening at that moment, for the, if I could use these words about Yitzchak, for the anxiety and depression and the confusion and the berulim and all these things that are happening to him. And then he searches out Aye Sela Olah. Where is the korban olah? Aye Mekom Kavodo. Where are you? And what's the Aye Sela Olah? That's Bereshis. Why is that Bereshis? Because Rabbi Nachman is explaining that the Tikkunim say Bereshis is a compound word of baratayish. He created the he created the lamb. So he was built into creation. The first words, Hashem made the ability to go from the darkest place to reach the highest level of Kedusha, the Mayim or Elyon, to reach the level of Keser, Mamish, the highest level. So Yitzchak was connecting to Bereshis, the Sela Ole, which is Baratayish, the lamb, right? The Korban Ole, in order to bring a tikkun to his situation. Guys, anyone want to add anything so far? We're going to read more. This is amazing.
Keep it going. Keep it going.
That Yitzchak understood the secrets of creation, that Hashem planted in the creation, embedded in the fabric of our lives, the ability to pick ourselves up no matter what happened. And Yitzchak revealed to us this secret, and Yitzchak deeply knew and understood and appreciated this. And that's why he was searching for Hashem, saying, Aye Sela Ole. He wanted to connect to the Maimer Bereshis, the Maimer Sasum, the Maimer Ne'elam, because he understood Bereshis is the word Baratayish, that the Sela Ole, that a person, even in the most darkest places, they could connect to the Maimer Elyon by searching out Aye Mekom Kilodo. Where are you? Where are you? There's nothing left to do other than smile, guys. It's amazing. We're going to read more because Rabbi Nachman says more, but Lamaisa, this is great. Okay, we're going back in. Okay. V'zeh b'chinas tshuva. And this is an aspect of tshuva. Kizeh, right? This should be understandable, right? Kizeh ikar hatshuva. Kish'adam mevakesh machapes acher kavod yisbarach. The main tshuva is when a person goes searching for the honor of God, for the kavod of God. B'roa ba'atzmo sherochot mikvod yisbarach. And a person sees how far he is. Umisgageya v'shoel umatstar, and he longs and he searches and he's pained. Aye mekom kivodo. Where is your kavod in all this? V'zeh ba'atzmo tshuva v'tikuna. B'havin hativ. This itself is your tshuvaso. This itself is the tikkun, and that's something you need to understand well. So like we were saying before, when a person, the very fact that a person is searching ayin and asking God, where are you all this? That itself is the tikkun. That itself brings the olah. It's like I often think about it in my practice as a therapist. Like I often point out to clients, like they're disturbed by like, why am I in such poor mental health? Or why did this happen to me? Or more existential things about God, like why is God doing this to me? Right? So I always like to point out the very fact that you're bothered, that you feel not mentally healthy, that itself is coming from your mental health. The very fact that you're bothered, where is God in all this? Or what happened to Hashem? Right? If you scale it back, you see that itself is the tikkun. That itself is divinity. So the process of searching out Hashem is itself the tikkuno, is itself the thing. Back to the screen share. Okay. Let me say one more point on this for a second. So up until now, it seems that, you might say to yourself, if you're part of the shir or you're listening to the shir, you might say, well, I don't feel totally lost in life. I kind of feel regular. Like my life's not falling apart. Maybe it is. I don't know. But maybe it's not. Maybe you feel regular. So like you might be thinking, well, this doesn't really apply to me. Like my life's not so destitute. I'm just a regular guy. Okay, I struggle. But I mean, all this, right? So we're going to see how not only does Rebbe, in the words we're going to read now, this is so important to understand that not only is Rebbe Nachman, as we see, speaking to the lowest common denominator, the worst person, so to speak, right? Speaking to the Russia or a person who feels themselves as such an evil, low person. We're going to see how Rebbe Nachman not only speaks to the Rishonim, but he speaks to the Tzaddikim. That this advice applies to you no matter where you are in life. V'yesh b'zeh od harbe dvarim. And with this, there's a lot of things to say. Ki k'sha'adam holech b'derech. When a person's going on his way. O k'sha'holech b'drachim ruchniyut. Or a person's going in spiritual ways. Azai ha-Torah holeches lefanav. Then the Torah walks in front of him. Bebechinas b'his lechecha tinache oscha. That in your goings, the Torah will rest with you. That's the context over there in that pasuk. Ki yesh b'zeh kama b'chinas. So what does it mean that the Torah is going to be resting with you? Ki yesh b'zeh b'chinas kama b'chinas. There is many aspects in this. Ki kol echad lefi toraso. Every person according to his Torah. And every individual has their own Torah, and every person according to his Torah. V'lifnei kol Torah yesh b'chinas safek hanal. And before every Torah, there is an aspect of doubt. Kigon b'chidushay Torah, like in novel ideas in Torah, chidush in Torah. Kodem shemachadshim yesh kama sveikus b'bulim kodem shemaram alabein adaber karoy. Before a person comes to a chiddush, there's a counterforce. There's a lot of doubt and confusion. Before a person clarifies and whitens and shines his chiddush like it's fitting. Ve'elu hasveikus hem b'chinas eitz hadas tov v'ra. And these sveikus are like the eitz hadas tov v'ra, the tree of knowledge, good and evil. Shehu b'chinas noga, which is like the aspect of noga, like we've been explaining. Noga is a mixture of good and bad, right? It can go either way, just like the tree, just like the eitz hadas is tov v'ra, it can go either way. Ukishmagia el haTorah ba'atzmo. And when a person comes to the Torah itself, zeh b'chinas eitz hachayim. This is like the tree of life. Going to the, just to explain this a little bit, right? So just like the Torah accompanies you no matter where you are in life, the Torah adapts to you. It's like no matter what level you're on, no matter how much of the Talmud Chacham or Tzaddik or how much scholarship you have, the Torah accompanies you, and a person gets insights into Torah, and a person learns different things. So Rav Nachman is teaching that each person has his own Torah that he needs to walk with, and that Hashem wants different things from us at different points in our lives. So what this means is, just to like put it all together really, it's like when a person is machadish in Torah, right? And a person has the insight into, a person works on different Torah ideas, right? So Rabbi Nachman is saying that even a Talmid Chacham needs to go through this process of ayin. That even a Talmid Chacham, even a regular person, like we were saying before, needs to go through this process of ayin, of sifting out and clarifying, right, his chiddush in Torah. Because when you sift and you clarify your novel idea in Torah, that Torah now comes with you wherever you are in life, and it's able to kind of show you the light. It's like the same way that a person is able to search out Aye Mekom Kevodo. A person is able to search out Hashem. Where are you in all this? So when a person's Torah goes next to them, they're able to reveal the Torah that's meluvush, that's tucked away in that place where he finds himself in life. And this is something that every Talmid Chacham needs to go to. Every tzaddik needs to go to. They need to go through this process of searching out, Hashem, where are you? And then you go through this process of being meluvan, of being confused. It's like you open up a Gemara, right? Like you open up a Gemara and you're like, what in the world does this say? It's like Chinese, right? And then a person has to break their head, and they have to work slowly, and they have to say, okay, this is the back and forth. This is the question. This is the answer. Oh, this is what Rashi says. Oh, what's Rashi? What was bothering Rashi? Oh, that was bothering Rashi. Wait a minute. How does that fit in the words? Right? Oh, okay, that makes sense. Oh, what is he arguing on Rashi? What was he bothered by? Oh, right. And you go through this whole place of sifting and clarifying and asking ayin. Right? And this is what the Gemara brings. I was also thinking that the Gemara brings, it brings a pasuk in Eicha that says, "B'machashechem hoshivani." In darkness, I was returned. So the Gemara says, "Zu Bavli." This is Talmud Bavli, right? Because he's mevarning a question, saying like, "Okay, you're a guy, but what about a tzaddik? What about Talmud Chacham? He also needs to search out ayin." The answer is yes. Even a tzaddik needs to search out ayin, right? So again, the Gemara says, "B'machashechem hoshivani." I was surrounded in darkness. Zu Bavli. So every time a person learns Gemara, they're throwing themselves into darkness and they need to ask, Aye, Hashem, where are you in all this? Right? Every time a person has a Chiddush in Torah, every time a person learns a new halacha and they clarify it, so they're going through this clarifying process of connecting Hashem, asking, where is God? Where is God in this? And to bring it full circle, and just plugging in some variables over here, as we've been preparing the shiurim and I've been learning this with everyone, like I've been really able to learn it, like, and really think about these things. I've learned this dozens of times, but really, when you prepare for shiur, you start to put together some of the details that you haven't put together. Where's the pasuk about Aye Mekom Kavodo? What's the context of it? The context is in Sefer Yeshaya, Perek 6, I believe. And in Sefer Yeshaya, Perek 6, what is it? It's Yeshaya Hanavi's vision of Hashem's Merkava. Right? It's the Ma'aser Merkava of Yeshaya, that he saw Hashem's chariot. So what does it describe over there? Right? There's a lot of famous psukim we say, like in Kaddish. Kadosh, 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 right? Melok haaretz kavodo, right? Hashem, right? Holy, 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 right? What's that? It's the Aye Mekom Kavodo is from the same chapters, from the same psukim over there. So what is it? That Yeshaya Hanavi, he has this heavenly vision. He has this Merkava. And all the Malachim are around Yeshaya Hanavi, and he sees the Malachim. And what do they say? Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh. Holy, holy, holy is Hashem. And what else do the Malachim say? Aye Mekom Kivodo. Hashem, where is your honor? Where is your glory? Meaning to say, Yeshaya Hanavi was in Shemayim. That Malachim were in Shemayim. You don't think they knew where Hashem's glory was? They're Malachim. The answer is, even on the highest levels, even when a person reaches the highest levels, like Yeshaya Hanavi, watching the Ma'aser Merkava in front of him, and he sees the angels praising, even there's an Aye Mekom Kavodo. And on every level a person reaches, there's an Aye, there's where is God in all this. As Yeshaya Hanavi was watching all the Malachim say, Aye Mekom Kavodo, where are you in all this? So not only does the lowest person need to go through this process of never giving up and searching on Aye and understanding Yesh Tikkun L'Hakol, there's a fixing for everything and everything can be brought to its proper place. And searching Aye itself brings the Tikkun, connects you to the Maimer Ne'elam, right? But even a tzaddik, when they're Mechadish, Chedushay Torah, or a Talmid Chacham, or anyone for that matter, even on the highest levels like Yeshaya Hanavi, who's watching the Ma'aser Merkava in Shemayim, the angels are now asking, Aye Mekom Kivodo, where are you? Because on every level a person is, it's not just you say, okay, I did tshuva, that's it, one-time deal, right? No. Rabbi Nachman explains in lesson above, you have to do tshuva al gabi tshuva. You have to do tshuva on top of your tshuva. You have to keep going from level to level to level, to not stop where you are, to keep on searching and clarifying, even on the highest level where you are. Aye Mekom Kivodo. Okay, guys. Any questions, comments? Letter to the editors? Anyone want to add anything?
Hard to top this one.
This is amazing. This is amazing.
Yeah.
Hey, Rabbi Nachman said, we started this year. Rabbi Nachman said his two most important pieces of advice were Nekudas Tovos, which we have, I believe, 5 shiurim on we learned about our point of resilience and finding the good, and Aye. He said that if you have these, Reb Nosson explains them in Hilchos Tchumen on Shabbos. He says that if you have these, he calls them the Gevul HaKedusha, the boundaries of Kedusha. That if a person has these two pieces of advice, of finding your good, being self-content, accessing your innate well-being and your point of resilience, and at the same time, Aye Mekom Kavodo, searching for Hashem, the chipos, and cultivating desire. If you have these two pieces of advice, you'll never go beyond the Tchum Shabbos. You'll never you'll never go beyond the boundaries of Kedusha, of constantly seeing that no matter where you are, to search out Aye, and at the same time finding the good in yourself and harnessing your innate wisdom and your innate well-being, right? So if you have these two, he says that's the Alpayim Amma, the 2,000 Amma you get. One Amma, the 2,000 distance that a person can get, so they're not allowed to walk past on Shabbos, past the Chub. He says 1,000 corresponds to Aye, and the other 1,000 corresponds to Nekudas Tolus. That if you have these two pieces of advice, Aye Mekom Kevodo, right? So a person can go from level to level to level to level, and it's an amazing advice. Next week, we're going to learn further. We didn't actually finish the piece. We have one more paragraph about, and also we're going to learn from some Likutei Halachas on this. Rav Nosson explains this. We'll see a piece in Hilchos Tzitzis, that a person who wears tzitzis in the bathroom, he talks about how that corresponds to the Maimer Elyon, and tzitzis are made out of wool, the Sela Oled. There's a lot to talk about there. And your tzitzis could go into dirty places. And also, I don't know if we're going to get to it next week, but I very, very much want to learn a little bit of Likutei Tfilas inside with everybody to really like get the Tefillah of Aye and really flesh it out more. So this is amazing learning this with everyone. And have a good Shabbos, everyone.
Shkoyach, thank you very, very much.
Shkoyach, everyone.